New this morning, we're getting new details from Lancaster police after they say a man was shot last night. Just after 9:30, officers say they responded to East Liberty Street between Queen and Christian Streets. They say they found a man who had been shot. Officers say he is expected to survive. An investigation is ongoing and police have not said if they have any suspects or if anyone's in custody. The York County coroner released the identity of the 15-year-old boy who was killed in a shooting in York on Tuesday. The coroner pronounced Wgal Harris dead around 10:30 Tuesday night. That was at Penn Park. An autopsy performed Friday revealed Harris was killed by a gunshot to his left shoulder and torso. The coroner ruled it a homicide. No arrests have been made in this case, and York police are still investigating. Following that shooting, Police Commissioner Michael Muldrow says he's increasing the police presence around the city. He says there will be drones, state police helicopters, and more officers on the ground. Police in Lebanon County are asking for help solving who killed a 13-year-old boy more than 4 years ago. South Lebanon Township Police say someone knows something about the shooting death of Jason Rivera in a parking lot on Vine Street back in February of 2022. Police are calling on anyone who knows something to do the right thing. They say the person can remain anonymous. State police say one person was killed in a crash in Adams County. We first brought you this story as breaking news. The crash happened on Route 234 in Reading Township around 7 o'clock yesterday morning. The Adams County coroner confirmed his office was called to the scene where they pronounced one person dead. State police troopers say the people in both vehicles involved in the crash were taken to the hospital. Firefighters in York County fought a truck fire. This happened just before 6 yesterday evening at Rivers Truck Center on Cape Horn Road in Windsor Township. A school bus parked next to that truck was also damaged. You can see in that photo there. The Southern Area Fire and Emergency Rescue Department says there were several explosions while fighting that fire. Emergency dispatchers say no one was hurt. PennDOT says it's set to start multiple projects that could impact your commute tomorrow. First, in Lebanon County, PennDOT crews will be cleaning the bridges along I-81 and I-78 this week. Work starts tomorrow and is set to run from 9 to 2 each day through Friday. A bridge replacement project is set to start in York County, and the detour will last all the way until November. Tomorrow, PennDOT says crews will close Campground Road at the bridge over Dogwood Run in Carroll Township. A detour will be in place for 175 days using Mountain Road and routes 15 and 74. All work on the project is set to wrap up December 18th. And PennDOT says it will finish a paving project tomorrow and Tuesday in Adams County. Crews are set to work on Pine Run Road between Carlisle Pike and Route 194 in Hamilton Township. PennDOT says only one lane of traffic will be open and flaggers will be in place from 7 to 3 both of those days. Breaking this morning, a hantavirus-stricken cruise ship with more than 140 people on board are being evacuated, including more than a dozen Americans. Experts say hantavirus usually spreads when people inhale contaminated residue of rodent droppings and isn't easily transmitted between people. Washington correspondent Jackie DeFusco joins us live from our D.C. bureau. Jackie, how is the CDC responding?
Well, Bailey, this morning, the CDC is focused on getting American passengers off of that ship safely and then, of course, containing the spread of the hantavirus. And right now, the agency does want to emphasize that the risk to the American public from this does remain very low. The cruise ship afflicted by a hantavirus outbreak now arriving at one of Spain's Canary Islands. The CDC has deployed a team there to conduct exposure risk assessments and provide monitoring recommendations. The agency says American passengers will be evacuated on a medical repatriation flight, then transported to the National Quarantine Center in Omaha, Nebraska. Officials say nobody on board is currently showing symptoms, but 3 people have died from the outbreak so far, and 5 passengers who previously left the ship are infected with hantavirus. The CDC says they're working with state and local authorities to monitor exposed Americans.
Hantavirus is not set up to cause a pandemic the way, say, COVID was at this point, and there's nothing to suggest that it is on the way to doing that.
Still, experts like former CDC Director Dr. Tom Frieden argue the agency's response has been too slow. From the dispatching of disease investigators to health alerts to doctors, it follows sweeping staff cuts under the Trump administration.
We in this country and around the world are much less safe because the U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention has been hollowed out. We have left the World Health Organization, and we are vulnerable to threats because we don't have these basic defenses.
President Trump was asked on Friday if he would reconsider leaving the WHO, which has been leading the hantavirus response.
No, we seem to have things under very good control. They know that virus very well. It's been around a long time.
I also asked the Trump administration about New York Times reporting that the CDC set up a team to respond to this outbreak this past Tuesday, which would be nearly a month after the first patient had died as a result of the outbreak. A spokesperson told me in an email that they have been tracking this incident, quote, since its start, and that the U.S. government has been in contact with Americans on board of that cruise ship for several days. Bailey.
Jackie, we know that the CDC is just one of the stakeholders involved in this really complicated evacuation process. Maybe can you walk us through that process and then what other safety precautions might be taken?
Yeah, Bailey. So authorities have emphasized that there is not going to be any contact with the local population in the Canary Islands. Instead, basically, this boat, it's not going to formally dock. It's going to remain anchored, and then basically the people on board are going to be ferried off in small boats and only allowed to leave the ship when their evacuation flight is ready to depart. And the timing of that depends and varies slightly based on where those passengers are headed, which nation they're headed to. In addition to that, basically those passengers are being told that they cannot take their luggage, at least not immediately, that they need to take a small bag with only essential items. And then also we're told that some of the crew members, as well as the body of one person who died in this outbreak, they're going to remain on the ship, which is after this headed to the Netherlands to undergo a disinfection process. Bailey.
All right, Jackie, live in Washington for us. Thank you very much for joining us this morning. A restoration project is underway at Gettysburg National Military Park. Invasive and non-native plants will be replaced with native grasses and wildflowers to better preserve the area's appearance. The project also aims to improve wildlife habitat, soil health, and erosion control. Visitors may see temporary trail closures during this work, which is set to cover 160 acres of the park.
People can work months without getting their first cardiac. Not only did she get it her first day, but first couple hours, and on top of that, she lost her father. Same type of situation with the cardiac event.
The York County Department of Emergency Services says a brand new dispatcher helped save a life on her very first day of taking calls. One of Mary Eiler's very first calls was one of the most intense a dispatcher can answer. A man called in saying that his wife did not have a pulse. Eiler talked him through CPR until paramedics arrived, and that woman survived.
I mean, when you're in the training room, that's the scary call, and you kind of think that it's not going to happen until you're a little more seasoned. It feels good to know that I made a difference and that she's still here.
Not only did Eiler help save a life, she did it after she lost her dad to a cardiac event less than a week before taking that call.